Time once again for our long-running game show, What is Janet Yellen Thinking?
I think that's a great question. I appreciate your asking it.
I know, right? From American Public Media, this is Marketplace. In Los Angeles, I'm Kai Ryssdal, the 15th of March. This one's a Wednesday. Good as always to have you along, everybody. All right, so to come clean, Fed Chair Janet Yellen doesn't necessarily think my question is a good one, although she might. We don't know. She was asked at her post-Federal Open Market Committee meeting today, at which we should mention the target for the federal funds rate, that is the short-term rate the Fed controls, was raised by a quarter percentage point to a range of 0.75% to 1% even. Anyway, Chair Yellen was asked with today's hike what the Fed's message to consumers is.
The simple message is the economy is doing well.
That was 4 seconds of an answer that, believe you me, went 1 minute and 37 seconds. You felt every moment of it. All the while she was saying basically the same thing. Jobs are good. Inflation's good. We're going to raise rates gradually. Nothing to see here. Move along. It is worth a note that Chair Yellen was asked a couple of times about what the impact of fiscal policy might be on this economy. Fiscal policy being what Congress and the president do, government spending, tax cuts, all of that. Truth be told, she danced around that question a little bit.
We recognize that there is great uncertainty about the timing, the size, the character of policy changes that may be put in place, and don't think that that's a decision or a set of decisions that we need to make until we know more about what policy changes will go into effect.
May 2nd and 3rd is the next meeting, and we will meet you back here for that one. On the fiscal policy side, by the way, President Trump went to Detroit this afternoon, said he was going to boost American industries, cars today in particular. The president has ordered the EPA to have another look at fuel economy standards that were finalized right before President Obama left office. Have another look here, meaning roll back. Those tighter mileage and emission standards were set to go into effect by 2025. Marketplace's Jed Kim has more on that from the Sustainability Desk.
Car makers say if they have to meet the standards on the books for 2025, their bottom lines will crash. Part of that's the difficulty and cost of technical advances. Part of it's consumer behavior.
When gas prices are low, as they are now and have been for a while, people tend to buy a larger vehicle than they would otherwise buy.
Kristen Gicek is with the Center for Automotive Research.
There'll be greater emissions if more people are buying larger vehicles that are less fuel efficient and create greater emissions.
That's where federal rules come in. They curb those tendencies by forcing vehicles themselves to pollute less, regardless of what we buy and drive. Roland Huang is with the Natural Resources Defense Council.
Carbon pollution standards and fuel economy standards are absolutely critical to making sure that we continue that push. And furthermore, of course, the U.S. auto industry doesn't fall behind on that global push to advance clean cars.
Barry Rabe teaches public policy at the University of Michigan. He says rolling back standards to help automakers now could come at a cost later, especially if the rest of the world continues to innovate on clean cars.
What is the future of national and global markets for vehicles going to be, not just in a year or two with low gas prices, but 5, 10, 15 years down the road?
U.S. automakers are giddy about all the trucks and SUVs they've been selling recently. A rollback would help them continue that. But Huang of the NRDC says not so fast. He promises a, quote, long, bumpy road for rolling back the standards, with lawsuits from groups like his acting as the potholes. I'm Jed Kim for Marketplace.
On Wall Street today, the words you're looking for here are priced in, as in traders had already priced in the Fed's interest rate increase. And still, though, they wanted more. Up, and more up. We'll have the details when we do the numbers. Trade, and specifically getting tough on it, and even more specifically getting tough on China over trade, is and has been since campaign one of the big items on the Trump administration's agenda. President Trump has said, among other things, that he would label China a currency manipulator, that he would slap a 45% tariff on Chinese imports, and that he would go after the dumping of cheap stuff on the world market that the president says is China taking jobs away from American companies and workers. Them's fighting words, global trade-wise, and today Chinese Premier Li Keqiang said China